We'll go into it.
Okay, very good. I'm gonna find you.
Stephen, how you doing, sir?
Hey, doing great, Steve.
Absolutely. That's great to hear, man. So hey, welcome MSPs and IT pros. Welcome to the Rocket MSP show, the show where we ask the tough questions. Today's episode is sponsored by Comet Backup. You can learn more about them in the show's description. Today, my guest is Stephen Spiegel, CEO of Crewhu. I'm so glad to have you on here, man. I've had Crewhu on my wish list for quite some time now.
No, it's great. Well, I'm happy to be here and on your show. Looking forward to answering what you wanna learn about.
Awesome. So let's dive right in. Why don't you give us a little background on Crewhu? I think for the most part, everyone knows that it's a CSAT NPS type software, but
Yeah,
why don't you tell us, how and when and why did the company start?
yeah. Like many vendors in this space, I was trying to solve a problem. Um, Unlike many vendors in this space, I was not an MSP. So my background actually came from restaurant franchising. Taking lots and lots of transactions uh, and uh, and trying to deliver the best customer experience possible. And retail and hotel, they really get it. Customer experience has been top of mind uh, for decades. And so, back in 2003, actually, I was living in California and bought my first franchise. Put my life savings on the line. Drove out to Florida with my wife Keika, and we're ready to start a new life. And we get there, and we built a franchise and built another one, built another one, built another one, and we were really excited. We were winning the market. It was really amazing. And then all of a sudden, we started to get a lot of turnover. Sales started to go down. Uh, I was feeling overwhelmed. My excitement turned into frustration. Whenever my phone rang, I felt like, oh God, there's another fire. There's another fire on the line. This isn't fun. Owning a business was supposed to be fun. When I dug down into it, I saw that, we were getting one piece of feedback from each store every year, and it was negative. And when I looked at it, I saw that they had to click it 20 times to give feedback. So I knew that person was really pissed off. We weren't receiving any positive feedback. We weren't receiving enough feedback to tell me anything. I decided to come up with a solution to tie into my loyalty program, so that 5 minutes after each transaction, the customer would get a one-click survey, not 20. And we started to receive 100 surveys per month per store,
Nice.
96 of which were positive. And we decided to start recognizing and rewarding the employees for delivering amazing service. So we're saying thank you 96 times for your great work. And then with those 4 times, we're trying to find out, of course, what went wrong, instead of just focusing on the negative. By doing that, they felt appreciated. Turnover, went away. Sales started to increase, and we ended up being one of the highest grossing franchise groups in the country. By the way, the franchise is Cold Stone Creamery. It's an ice cream concept that we
Yeah.
brought to South Florida.
I love Cold Stone. If you couldn't tell by looking at me, um, so that's a really cool reason to start changing the way you're collecting that CSAT information. Um, how would you say that Crewhu is different from the other CSAT NPS platforms that are out there, and we could name a few, but I mean, MSPs know them all. There's probably half a dozen, if not more, that are specific just to MSPs.
Yeah, yeah. No, absolutely, right. And they're fine. They're good. They're good at what they do. They measure customer satisfaction, and
Mm.
that's important. But that's the tip of the iceberg. You can't start and stop there. You need to. The reason why a lot of customer satisfaction programs fail is simply execution. And it's not really hard to execute, but you need to follow a process. Now, number one, you need to focus on the positive, because there's a lot more positive than happens than negative. And if you're not focusing on the positive and only on the negative, your team's going to disengage. And actually, when your manager comes up to them only for the negative stuff, they're not going to listen. They're going to yes you, if they're not hiding under their desk every time you're coming. They're not going to collaborate with you. They're not going to innovate with you. And you need to have them doing. So you have to focus on the positive. You also need to have a process. So all these other tools, you can measure it, but do you have a process that will help you, process the positives? What do you do when you get a positive? Stream it on your website as a testimonial. Create a list for your account managers to reach out to see if you could get referrals or case studies. Get more Google reviews to really improve your reputation. Are you doing these things, or are you just seeing the good coming in and saying great and moving on to the next thing? And what are you doing with the negative feedback, right? How are you processing that? What's that workflow? What's that automation to help you improve the process? Because if you don't have a process in place, you're ultimately going to lose credibility, and the CSAT program is going to fail. You're not going to get enough feedback, and you need people involved as an executive manager, as a leader, or as an owner of an MSP. You can't just say, hey, I'm going to do a customer experience program. We're going to start measuring customer experience without getting everybody else bought in and engaged. The program won't last. You need your team, focused on it, just like you would be focused on it, right?
Okay.
People generally focus on the CSAT score, right? You don't want to focus actually on the CSAT score. A lot of people have 100% CSAT, but what does that mean? How much feedback are you getting? What percentage of your customers are giving you feedback? What percentage of your customers are not engaged? You need to know that information. You need to focus on more feedback, not just the score.
And I gotta say, the one thing that I think differentiates Crewhu, and you said that you got to get the employees to buy in. I think the way Crewhu is doing that for MSPs is that they've got this really cool. I don't know what it's called, and I'm sure you'll go over it later, but it's some kind of like Crewhu points structure where
Mm-hmm.
we've got uh, ways for the employer to reward employees for being recognized for great service.
Yeah.
So we'll talk more about that later, but I don't know of any other CSAT platform, at least specific for MSPs, that is doing this. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's what sets Crewhu apart.
Yeah. Absolutely.
S- So let's talk more about Crewhu. Um, just quickly run down the list of common MSP tools that you integrate with. ConnectWise Manage, Autotask, PSA.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you've
Yeah.
got others.
We can integrate with any PSA. Our most popular integrations are with ConnectWise Manage, as you said, Autotask, BMS. We just launched our integration with Halo PSA, which
Good.
they're really growing strong and taking the market by storm. They're a great company, so we're really excited about that new integration.
And
Now,
you said you can integrate with any. So is it some type of like email integration if you don't have an API integration at that point?
right. So the best integration is through an API, REST API, where we're pulling ticket data, and we collect a lot more. But if
Mhm.
there's people out there that have custom PSAs that they've created themselves. There's people that use PSAs that are a little less known, and we could, our guys on the onboarding team could create a snippet that integrates with that, so we could collect and report on that feedback for you.
Perfect. How customizable is this platform? Can MSPs tweak it to their unique business needs, or is it is it something that really doesn't need to be customized all that much?
We have a default setting for everything, so it could, it's easily onboarded. But being in this market, I know how much people like customization,
Mhm.
right? So you could customize a lot. You could customize your landing page. Customize the survey itself. Customize the notifications that are going out. So customize the faces. So there's people that have these logos that they want to be, as part of the faces, right? So I remember, like one company, I think Webbit IT, they had little frogs that are kind of cool. So they have a green frog and a yellow frog and a red frog for great to bad. Um, so we could do all sorts of things to customize, for the
Perfect.
MSP.
What kind of onboarding, training, and support does Crewhu provide MSPs?
Oh, I invest a lot in onboarding, and also in the account management. We're a SaaS provider, and just like an MSP, it's all about maintaining that relationship over a long period of time, and we value that just as much as new business. I think we probably value that more even than new business, because it doesn't matter if we bring somebody on and they leave in 12 months. We expect them to stay for years with us. So we provide white glove onboarding to make sure that they're adopted, so they're using the platform well, so they're happy, because we know if they use the platform, they're going to stay with us. We know if they don't, they'll leave. Right? There's no reason to keep the subscription going.
How often is the platform updated? And maybe a little tongue in cheek, do you listen to client feedback for improvements?
We listen to client feedback from our feedback surveys. We listen to client feedback from our net promoter score surveys. We have a Slack channel called Feedback, where the team could let us know what they think or what their customers are thinking, because they're speaking to them on a daily basis. We actually take that, and we chart it out. And when we go into our product reviews quarterly, we look at that when we make decisions. We don't listen, or we can't listen to every single piece of feedback. Crewhu would look a lot different. It would be a lot bigger in scope. It would probably be very hard to use, but we do take into account all the feedback that fits into the scope of what we're doing, and we try to communicate that out to our base. We
Great.
actually have this thing called the Crewhu Brew, where we get together every couple of weeks with our customers to talk about what other best practices, what other customers are doing, what seems to be working well, what new feature it was just released, what new feature is on the horizon.
Cool. I like that. So, we talked for a moment about that, competitive advantage being that you work to reward the employees. Um, where do you think Crewhu falls short? What areas or features do you think maybe need some improvement?
Well, I I think that UX should always be looked at on a quarterly basis. There's always ways to make it easier to use. The less clicks, the better. And I think
Mhm.
there's still lots of places where we could create less clicks. There is, also MSPs have, they're all different, right? They all seem like they're the same on the outside, but they're all different. They all have their challenges that they need to focus on, and they're different challenges, based on the organization, based on the organization's size, based on the organization's maturity, based on the organization's culture. I think the hardest thing is to have every single metric automated that everybody wants. So we're constantly working on that, seeing what new metrics, what new integrations we could work on to automate it. So because we know if it's not automated, there's lots of people out there that would use a manual process, but for the most part, and to make it scalable, everything needs to be automated or have some automation built in. So I think we could improve on new metrics and focus on those that are in demand from our customer base.
And can you think of any good reasons why an MSP would choose to not go with Crewhu? Maybe when it's not a good fit.
Yeah, first of all, they need to believe it. So if they don't believe in it, they're not a good fit. And we're not a fit for everybody. And Actually, our sales team is trained on that. They understand, right? A yes is amazing, but a no is also amazing. A yes is better, but if they're not bought in, it's not going to succeed. We need to have buy-in, right? We do business with MSPs from you know even 3 to 4 people to over 500. So it's really not the size. It's the mindset.
Hmm.
It's do you believe in this? Now we have the numbers to prove it. We have case studies, testimonials from our customers, but still, if you do not believe it, it will not be successful. So that is, the main thing. Also, you need to spend the time in the beginning to onboard and get it adopted. It doesn't take a lot of time, but you need to put a little bit of focus on that right from the beginning. If you start off well, you're going to be here for years. If
Hmm.
it's an afterthought, it could be challenging in the beginning, right? There's many different types of ways where you could implement it as well, right? Go with the
Okay.
CSAT only. Start with that, and then move on to the other things.
So let's talk about cybersecurity for a couple minutes.
Mhm.
Um, as an employee feedback platform, how does Crewhu handle sensitive data security?
Is an employee feedback platform?
Yeah, so
Mhm.
let's say a client says, "Hey, thanks for helping me change my password for Microsoft 365. I really appreciate it." And they're dumb enough to type their password into the platform, or something like that. So how does Crew handle sensitive data security? Like how?
Well, I mean, we use MFA.
Okay,
So we probably wouldn't have if it wasn't for the MSP community. The MSP community is very focused on security.
they sure
Um,
are.
if listen, if we decided, hey, we're going to go into the restaurant, you know, business, and And we started there, but we ended up here. But if we were there, I don't think that we would be as focused on security as we have been, right? And because of that, because of the knowledge we have, which is great knowledge from our customers, we do things to make the platform more secure.
Do you guys have any, certifications like SOC 2 or anything for your data centers?
No,
I assume
we don't.
everything's probably hosted in like Azure or AWS or something anyway,
Yeah,
right?
they are AWS, and we fall under AWS management, and so we don't host any of our servers in our offices, for example.
Um, Customer data, you don't ever do anything like sell it or use it for marketing without permission.
No, their data is their data.
Good.
Right?
I mean, I'm expecting the answers you're giving, but I'm gonna ask them anyway.
Their data is their data, and we, there's a lot of data laws now, so we have to abide by them. We even, have certain measures in place where support can only go into a customer's account if it's a support issue that they ask for. People can't just go into someone's account, and they need a certain login so it's tracked. So we take that pretty seriously.
Pricing. How do you price your system? Is it like a per employee, per user type thing? Is it feature based or is it an all inclusive price?
Well, we have packages, so we have a standard plan and a pro plan and a badass plan. And so the standard plan is your CSAT, right? Sort of similar to the other guys out there. You go to pro, you have CSAT, and then you have reputation management. Helps with SEO, brings people to your website, gets you more Google reviews, and so the standard and the pro, usually for the smaller customers starting out, they want to start out with a customer satisfaction program. They want to get more business. They want to increase the number of opportunities that they're getting for their sales team. And then there is the badass package where we also take metrics and gamification into account, and we gamify not only CSAT, which is that trailing indicator, but also the leading indicators, such as number of tickets closed, such as resolution time, response time, number of tickets that were escalated, number of escalated tickets that were closed, things like that we pull from the ticket data.
Excellent. And for those of you wondering, the pricing is available on the Crewhu website, crewhu.com. You just click on the pricing button. You tell it how many employees you have. So, let's say you have 50 employees. They give you the pricing there for standard, pro, and badass, all three plans. You don't even have to fill out a form to get it.
Now we're really transparent with the pricing.
Good. Are there any like contract lengths or minimum commitments?
There's no contracts. We have a discount to biannual, so buy upfront. It's a pretty darn good discount, something that you're not going to get in your savings account or in the stock market. So it really makes sense, and I mean the majority of the people that go with us usually go annual.
Okay. Let's see. How many MSPs have adopted Crewhu today? Roughly.
We're north of 700.
Okay. And what percentage of your customer base is MSPs?
I would say 95%. We did the pivot. I built it for retail, but MSPs started to come to us, and I didn't know what an MSP was, to be honest, back then. It was like 2015. I I reached out to them. I became friends with a couple of them, and they told me to go to IT Nation. I walked IT Nation as an attendee. I actually wasn't allowed to go. They thought I was a vendor. I wasn't even in the market yet. So I asked one of them, and they got me in. And it turns out, it was a peer group from True Methods. Do you know Gary Pica?
I'm familiar.
Yeah. So they got me in touch with Gary, and I'm like, Gary, I'd love to get in front of your guys. It's a good story. We deliver a lot of value, and I think this is a great market for us. He says, yeah, you could sponsor. They had this thing called Schniz Fest. It was going to be the first annual Schniz Fest. And I'm like, I don't have any money right now. I just want to see if this market will work. Can I just come up, speak to like a peer group? He was having this quarterly, and he says, listen, take my guys out. Take my guys out for drinks. I'm like, okay. I had no idea how much they like to drink. It was a pretty big bar tab, but I had so much fun. We had so many friends. We signed up a couple of dozen MSPs, and we were now in the MSP market. This was February of 2016, and that year I did end up sponsoring the first annual Schniz Fest. I haven't missed one since. I was just in the last one this last year. So I think I'm one of the only people that have been there since the inaugural. I went to that peer group meeting when I presented in front of 40 of the guys. And the final thing I did at the end of the year was IT Nation. So I did those 3 events. Now we're doing like 2 events every month. The world has changed.
It certainly has.
Yeah.
Well, let's hop into a product demo. You want to share your screen?
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I am. Tell me how.
Down on the bottom, you'll see a button that says present.
I see it. Okay, present. Amazing. Screen share. Got it. Okay. Share screen. Which one is he gonna do? Cool. I'm gonna do.
And while you do that, we do have a special link. So if you go to crewhu.com/RocketMSP, if you're interested in signing up, that will help support the show. I'm not getting any commission or anything if people sign up. I want to know how many people sign up because of me. That's all. So
Got it. So yeah. Oops. So we have Jen made a link for you.
Yeah, it's up on the screen for everyone.
Okay, awesome, great. So I saw how I could share a screen.
Yep,
this
I
is
got
just
you live
one
now.
tab within the screen. Yeah. So this is the store that we were talking about. So if you look up top here, you have we call it Crewcoin. It's not as valuable as Bitcoin yet. So if we keep going up in value, Bitcoin keeps on coming down, maybe. So now Gem and the holograms have 2,125 Crew coins, and they could come here and see what they could, afford to buy. And there's all sorts of gift cards. There's customized prizes because a lot of our customers like to do customized things. Like I know there's this one MSP that they have the CEO dance the Macarena, and
cool.
they love that, and that's worth a lot of Crew coin. There's also one where they could throw pies in the CEO's face. That's pretty cool. And they have things like helicopter rides and that parking space and a paid day off, right? So there's a lot of interesting things you could do. The most important thing, it needs to be personal to the team. The team needs to know, oh, our leadership knows who I am. They care about me. They have this stuff in the store because they know I like it, right? Maybe I'm a gamer, so they have PlayStation in there, right? Maybe I like to ski, so they have a weekend ski trip in there as a prize. It makes a difference. That just like we listen to our customers, you got to listen to your customers, which are also your team, your crew, your employees.
Okay.
So this is where you go, right? And it's very simple for the user once they earn it, right? So they earn Crew Coin by getting positive reviews. They earn Crew Coin by hitting certain goals, like number of tickets closed. They earn Crew Coin by receiving peer badges, right? So I need to share another screen, but let me just show you what happens here. Let me see if you see that. That doesn't change? Oh, okay. I don't have enough Crew Coin, but they click it and then they click it again.
You got enough for the Nintendo one.
What's up? The Nintendo?
Yeah, you got enough for that.
Right. So if oh, it's in trial. So on this sandbox, you can't even use it's automated, right? So if you click on it, it automatically sends it to the person. There's nothing else anybody needs to do. So that's the reason why it stops it. So this is the prize store, and let me. I think I'm not sharing my screen. I'm sharing the actual slide. Is there a way to share the whole screen?
I just do share screen on present.
Yeah, share screen. And okay. And it says Chrome tab window. Okay, window. Very good. Maybe that works. So now you're seeing the badges, and you could actually use your core values, right? And then empower your team to give recognition to one another for living the core values daily. Or maybe it's something that you want them to do, right? So maybe documentation, for example, is a problem in your organization. It's a common problem getting everybody to document. Maybe someone create an amazing document. You could click here, click on Bart Simpson because he's such a great documenter. You write something cool in here, usually write more than that, but for the sake of this, and then you go in, you click your badge, and it goes to Bart. Right, everybody gets to see it. It goes into the feed, and actually, let me see if that. Do you see my Slack integration or no? My Slack up in the screen? I don't think you do. Let me show my Slack so you can see what it really looks like in real time.
Okay.
So let me use that share screen, and let me go to this. Okay. Now this is my Slack feed. This is real. This is our company, and this also works with MS Teams. So when you could give recognition from here, and you could also see the recognition coming in. So, for example, I gave a living it badge to Mari. You're living it the week of 11/5. Actually, you're always living it, and I talk about why I'm giving this badge to Mari. Everybody sees it, and we're reinforcing, the core values of the company. And it's not just going into Crewhu, but it's going into your communication application that everybody uses every day, which makes adoption a lot easier for our customers.
I like that.
And I want to show you what the actual survey looks like. So I want to talk through that a bit. And let me just bring that up for you. Okay. Come here. All right. Steve, it is just going slow today. My computer. I'm going into Google to click on my snippet, and then I'm gonna show you what the survey looks like.
Okay.
And what I'd really like to show you, if I could get this going, is what you can collect. And it's really important to understand what they're saying, but what they're not saying. And I will bring it over. I'll share my screen. And here, window. It's not working. We could go back to that. We could go into the reports. Just give me 1 second. My computer is locking up in my home office. So I apologize.
Does anyone know a good computer guy?
Yeah. What I talk about in my presentations, and what I wanted to talk about with this survey is, it's not just about the smiley faces. It's not just about getting a good or bad. There's a lot of people that don't give you anything. And what we found over thousands of surveys is that you could have 100% CSAT, high CSAT, 98% CSAT. But when you look at the tags that come off of our survey, where you click on response time or resolution time or helpfulness, you could see that even though you have a 98% CSAT, you could see that, for example, only 100 people out of 1,000 clicked response rate. And at that moment, even though you have a 98% CSAT, you could see that response rate needs attention. Not enough people are saying great job on response rate, which really means that you're not really turning heads here with the time it takes for you to reach out to us and tell us what's going on. So that's something that you could now focus on over the next month. Have a game, say, whoever gets the most response rate kudos. Maybe you could have a contest on whoever hits the response rate, time goal, and try to get that down and see what happens, right? See what the response rate is from your community, not the response rate, but see what the response is from your community. And the idea is to really focus on the things that you can improve and just continuously improve them with the data that you have from the analytics inside Crewhu or inside any of your data applications, for that matter.
Okay. So you mentioned, or we've both probably mentioned CSAT and NPS. Can you explain to MSPs the difference between the two and when you use each of them?
Yeah, so CSAT's transactional. It's how we started, because we were monitoring transactions in the ice cream store, and then we started to monitor thousands of transactions in the MSP community on ticket replies and ticket resolutions, right? And it's really important to understand how each transaction goes, because you could really affect that. You could change processes. You could set expectations better. You could even have customer service training for techs that need it, that are doing the wrong things. However, that has nothing to do with, it does tie into what people think of your organization, but that's just one piece of it. They could love, your help desk. They could love your field technicians or how your account managers take care of them. But maybe they just don't like your company. Maybe your tech stack just doesn't match the growing needs of their company. And there's no way to know that from these ticket surveys. You need to understand that from more relational surveys, such as Net Promoter Score. And I know that you're probably having quarterly business reviews. At least I hope that you're having quarterly business reviews or some sort of business review rhythm. You don't always get 100% of the information. So it's always great to have different points. The quarterly business review, right? The phone calls, right? The survey data, the transactional data, the relational data, all that will help you make better decisions and retain your customers for a longer time, retain your employees. And, and I know for the most part, anyway, there is some churn, but it's not the biggest pain for MSPs. Even employee churn, maybe not the biggest pain for MSPs. I think the biggest pain is productivity, is growing their business, is differentiating themselves from people that looked exactly like them. How do they get more business, right? How do they grow the business they currently have? How do they get their employees, their team, their crew to do more, right? How can we want to bring on, 2,000 extra endpoints. How can we do that with the same team without having to grow? It's productivity. And you could do that by focusing on the metrics that matter with the team, right? You could grow your business by delivering amazing customer service with the team and then showcasing that through Google reviews, through testimonials, getting more opportunities through improved SEO. These are things that we help with as a company.
Excellent. So it sounds like your computer's not working to let you share your screen and keep demoing the product.
Yeah. And by the way, I probably for product demos, I am probably not the best person that you want to work with for the vision, for the actual idea of the product, for what we solve for. I know that for where we want to take it. I know that like the back of the hand, like the back of my hand. And, happy to talk about that. And we have a team of guys that will take anybody through a really cool demo to show them how we could really help their MSPs.
Great. Well, I'm gonna put the link up one more time. It's crewhu.com/RocketMSP. If you go there, you can fill out a form and get signed up for a 14-day free Crewhu trial. And they've got some deals going on right now too. It sounds like you're doing 20% off through the 9th. And then
through the 9th, and then it's countdown to the new year, so you can start off 2024 with a bang. So I think you have 20% to the 9th. After that, it goes to 15%, and then I think the third week is 10%.
Correct. Yeah.
But it's not, you sign up. It's not a commitment. You see if you like it, right? And again, if you're not committed, the no is great, right? Because we don't want to waste our time. You don't want to waste your time. But if you are committed, you sort of, you believe what we're talking about. You see what we've done with other MSPs, just like yourself. I promise you will get a 10x ROI. I'm a marketer by trade. I'm a marketer and a salesperson by trade. I believe that you should invest in that, but recognition rewards, customer experience, the ROI on them, is so much bigger than anything else you could invest in your company. And that's, it changed my company when, in the restaurant business. But not only my company, it changed my life. I could pick up the phone again and smile about it when it rings, instead of go, oh no, not another fire. I could have dinner with my family without thinking about business, right? I
Isn't that a
could,
great feeling?
yeah, it's amazing. It's light. I'm in business, have fun, right? And
Mhm.
if you're and I've been here, right? If you're in a place in your business where it's not fun for you anymore, and it's because you're always putting out fires, this is where we could really help. And it's important to me because I'm a business owner, just like many of you are that may be listening.
Yeah. And being in business to have fun, I love that. And I bet you get to have tons of fun with events like Schniz Fest that's coming up next month.
Yeah,
I don't know if you still go to some of these shows, but
yeah. I am. I'm going to go to Schniz Fest. Yeah, I think we haven't missed one. We love those guys. So,
I just mean you. I know Crewhu will be there, but I wasn't
oh,
sure if like you will be at Schniz Fest. That's a
no,
great way to
no.
have fun.
I have I go to a lot of the shows. I don't go to all of them, but I try to make it to most.
Great.
I love to spread the word, not only about crew, but about how you could deliver badass customer experiences 100% of the time. And I talk about the framework. I have breakout sessions where we have workshops on it. So I'm out there. I'm having fun. I love doing this.
Good. Well, Stephen, thank you so much for hopping on here today and showing what you could of the platform and sharing your experience and vision behind Crewhu. I really appreciate it, man.
Yeah. Hey, no problem. No problem, Steve. And I, look forward to being on your show one time again soon.
Great. Have a good one, everybody.